6 moves of the spine with a leg swing. It starts from hands and knees. To help warm up the foot, I'll often have students tap the top of their right foot against the floor. It makes an awesome sound in a full classroom, like a rainstorm is starting. And we do this with the muscles as relaxed as we can have them so the joints get mobilized by the tapping. Then we pause, we find the breath, and with an inhale, flip from the toenails to the pads of the toes, press the heel back. With an exhale, knee comes down all the way to the floor, or just to curled toes. If you've got folks with arthritic toes or just doesn't feel good for their feet, just bring them down about this far. They'll even get a stretch across the pads of the toes. It's inhales to press back, exhales to lower down. Now that can grow into a stretch for the calf, maybe a rocking forward and back, then into a lift of the leg and a cow pose, a bend of the knee, and a cat pose. This action can happen in the spine and the leg exclusively, or you can use the opposite arm and pull in. Opposite arm and pull in. After several rounds, if you want a little extra spice, try tucking your elbow and your knee together and pushing and pulling them into each other. It's very exciting. Then we'll come back down. Often students at this point need a little break for their wrists. They could come back into a kneeling position and roll through their wrists, or down to child's pose, or even onto their bellies. Then you'll do the same on the second side. As a refresher, it's the tap of the foot against the floor first, then pulses with the breath. Inhales back, exhales down. Inhales back, exhales down. No fewer, I would say, than 5 of these, maybe as many as 10 might feel really nice. And we hold, maybe with a slight rock, and eventually we go into cat and cow. Inhale, leg up like a scorpion's tail. Exhale, knee in. Inhales, lift the foot and the gaze. Exhales, bring the chin and knee toward each other. Option to move the arm as well. And eventually, you might push your elbow and your knee in toward each other. Then again, another break for your students. Give them a chance to roll out through their wrists. Back to hands and knees. Leg extends. Now explore, not bringing it so high that it tips your pelvis into a cow pose, but instead holding the core steady, keeping your heel at or below the level of your hip so your spine can be neutral. Externally rotate the leg. A couple things you could do from here. This could be an exhale to squeeze in, inhale to reach back, exhale to squeeze in like a mountain climber, or you can swing the leg wide. Eventually, the foot will come over. If you've done a mountain climber, you can shoot it out to the side, and there's a threading the needle twist. This can happen on the palm or the elbow of the base arm. Another chance to stretch through your wrist to roll it out. One more thing to do. Now we need to cross the midline and get our side flexion. So we'll take the leg back. This will be an inhale. With an exhale, there's a little curtsy action. You tap across. Inhale, square off. Exhale, tap across. Inhale, square, exhales, tap. After several of these, you can take more of a side bend by reaching into it, or you can tuck the knees near each other. This is starting to look a little bit like Gomukhasana or cow face pose. You could even go there by walking back. This isn't great for every set of knees, so know your students. Or you can play with a balance shape where you're really pressing the tops of the feet down and lifting your torso up. Let it go. As a refresher, on side 2, we had external rotation of the extended leg that's low enough that the spine can stay neutral. We move it over, either bent or straight, and then we do a threading the needle twist. Then we cross over from the leg extended back, a tap, and a tap. Maybe the cow face, maybe the king of the world. I like to think of Jack and Rose in Titanic up there on the bow of the ship. Now, there are some ways you can play with this. You could go side to side. So you could externally rotate and swing wide, and then it's internal rotation as you come across. Out and in. That's a very useful way to play this. You could even do all 3. In, out, across. Please take this recipe and make it your own. It's a delicious warm-up and really good for getting the body warm and primed for more powerful practice.